Well, hi, Stu Bamick here coming to you from Pawleys Island, South Carolina. You know, a couple weeks ago, we had a Chinese balloon float right over our house, 60,000 feet in the air. We watched it being shot down. It was crazy. It was eerie. I had never before seen anything like that in my whole lifetime. Now, you know, politically and on the global scale, we know this was a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. A foreign government flying, spying over our sovereign airspace. But at that moment for me, it was just something floating around there over my backyard collecting intel on me. I don't know where it was headed. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what it was going to do. It could have exploded for all that I know. But over time, I found out that that balloon had a clear purpose to it. It had direction. It was carefully planned. It had a purpose. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this message. God doesn't want us floating around in the sky. He wants us to know where we're headed. He wants us to have clarity and focus and direction in our lives. It's been said, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to get there real fast. I mean, have you ever tried to play football or baseball with no lines? No, we need clarity. We need direction. Hey, have you ever wondered, why am I here? Why do I exist? Why did God create me? What is my purpose in life? What is my reason for existence? Why did God create me? He wants you and me to find the reason why we, each of us individually, are uniquely here. Why He created you and me. So to answer that question of why am I here? Why do I exist? I want to review what I call the power of finding a personal purpose statement. A few key words that bring clarity and focus and direction and fulfillment to our lives, your life and mine. So what does a personal purpose statement look like? Well, first let me say that you might be interested to know that God created us for a purpose, you and me, uniquely, each and every human being. I mean, we have a lot of things to do in this world, but at the core of our lives, we have this unique giftedness, this calling, that we are handcrafted and shaped and molded by God for something specific for you and me to do. I love Psalm 139, verse 13. For you formed me in my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. Do you see what the psalmist is saying there? That we were formed, we were created, we were hand-fashioned and shaped and molded by God. And not only in our physical being out here, but in our inward parts, in the deepest core of my inner being, in my soul, in my spirit. And then He knitted all that together in our physical existence, our bones, our sinews, our muscles, our veins, everything that surrounds us that makes us move and walk and navigate through this world. But inside, in your core, you are uniquely gifted and created by God. And the psalmist says that we're fearfully made. The Hebrew there is a word for reverence, for awe, that we are wonderfully made, holy, handcrafted, utterly unique. There is no fingerprint. Think about this. There's no fingerprint that's ever existed like your fingerprint. No heartbeat, no DNA. No, we are uniquely set apart, one of a kind. And that all happened before we were born. God created us for a purpose in our mother's womb. It's the reason we exist. It's our mission. It's our purpose. And God wants us to understand who we are and why we're here and what our unique purpose is in life. I'm not an accident. I have a unique role to play in God's created order. Martin Luther said that God needs all of us to make the world go round. He creates everyone for a specific purpose. There might be in this world a plumber or an electrician or a space scientist or an MIT graduate that can make code in computers, or someone just to raise children, or to cook in a restaurant and make nice meals for people. God needs all of us. I am not an accident. I am here for a reason, for a purpose. God has uniquely created me. He has formed me for a purpose in life. And that's the wonder and the beauty of life. And in a sense, that's the tragedy of what happens when we take a little child's life before it's born, before it's an age to be born, is we're eliminating that purpose and that creation of God in the womb. We're eliminating that and doing away with it. So God says, be careful. Your purpose in life, your specific reason for existence is holy. It's wonderful. It's reverent. It fills the world with a sense of the sovereignty, of the beauty of God and His creation of human beings, of you and me. So the question becomes, if we're designed for a unique, special purpose by God, fearfully and wonderfully made, how do we discover that purpose? How do we discover where we're headed? Well, I want to suggest 3 ingredients of a personal purpose statement. And the first is this: clarity. There is a certain simplicity, a focus, a direction about a personal purpose statement. It should be so simple that even a child could understand it. We should be able to write it on a single sentence or a single phrase or a single word and put it on our t-shirt or over the mantle of our fireplace or the welcome mat in front of our door. It's just who we are, what we're living for, what direction we're headed in, what our purpose is. Think about significant people in our American history here, inventors, designers, people who have done amazing things. Thomas Edison, his purpose was to design a sustainable source of light. Henry Ford, I want to build an affordable car that everyone can own. He said, if I'd have asked people what they wanted, they'd have said, we want a faster horse. But I knew they needed a car. Ray Kroc, McDonald's, I want to build a quick, cheap, fast hamburger. That's it. That's simple. They teach that in a place called Hamburger University in Illinois, where they train franchise owners. This was our goal. It was clear. It was singular. It was focused. We had a direction of a quick, cheap, fast hamburger. Stephen Jobs, I want a computer in every home. And of course, I'm old enough to remember in 1961, John Kennedy, JFK, when he said, look, our purpose, our single focus right now is to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. It's not enough just to get him there, but once we get him there, we want to bring him back home. So in 1969, there were footprints of a human being on the moon. It's the power of a person developing a purpose statement. For years, I did chapel services for the National Football League. And I remember one of the players telling me, actually, he's a Hall of Famer today. He said to me, you wouldn't get me to do one push-up if you took away the goalpost, the end line, the purpose, the reason why we're here, the reason why we have a football and we play a game, the reason there's a Super Bowl, to cross that goal line. It's our North Star. A personal purpose statement is what guides us. It keeps us focused. It's important. It's crystal clear to us. It gives us vision and direction and energy and power. It's repeatable. We know it backwards and forwards because it's been said that we lose our vision, our purpose, every 48 hours. That's why we have to be reminded over and over and over again. What is my personal purpose statement? Have you noticed that great organizations have great personal purpose statements? A thing they're passionate about, have focus and direction? Hey, pop quiz. Organizations, name them for me. Purpose statements. To organize the world's information and make it universally acceptable. What company? Come on. Google. Yeah, right. To be a place where people can buy anything they want, anytime they want, online, and have it shipped to their home. Amazon. To connect the world's professional people together. LinkedIn. To be a place of global sharing and connection. For better or worse, Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok. We talked about that in the first message. If you didn't hear that, go back and listen to it. Company. To provide a global trading platform. A global trading platform. eBay. To bring and build the web's most secure payment solution. PayPal. To bring an electric car to market as soon as possible that's affordable. Tesla. Elon Musk. And you all get this one. To be the world's best beer. Budweiser. You see, great people make great mission, purpose statements. Great organizations make great personal purpose statements that are filled with clarity and simplicity and passion. Even in the Bible, we find people with these great personal statements of direction. If I said what's written over the tombstone of these great saints of the Old Testament and the New Testament, if I said, okay, servant of the Lord, Moses. That's what he said, I want to be known by. Simply on my tombstone, servant of the Lord. How about this one? Be strong and of good courage. Joshua. How about, I want to prepare people and the way for the coming of the Christ, the anointed, the Son of God. Yeah, John. You get this one. Who said, I have come to seek and save the lost? Jesus. He said that to a fellow tax collector by the name of Zacchaeus. I've come to seek and save you and me, the lost people of the world. And because we've been studying Philippians, who said, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Yeah, Paul, Philippians 1:21. I mean, how do you beat a man like that? To live is Jesus, Christ, and if I die, I just get more of him. Do you see how people and organizations and people out of the Bible, great leaders of the Old and New Testament, have this clear, simple, personal purpose statement in life? Life doesn't go very far for us when we're just wandering around. I had been doing chapel services for the Formula One racers that would come to Pittsburgh every year and be on the Allegheny River at the Three Rivers Regatta. It was a water festival. Hundreds of thousands of people would show up, and they had those Formula One races with those boats and the big, powerful engines and the big rooster tail of water coming out the back and the sealed-in cockpit. And I got to know the fellas, because the drivers and the teams, because I would do a chapel service, and they were very dialed in on a chapel service before they were about to jump into these projectiles that were going to get under the river. And one day in the final race, after they had had the preliminaries and the trials in the final race, a young fellow by the name of Billy Joel, he lost his rudders, and his boat just went careening out of control, back and forth. It was wandering around in the river aimlessly at high speeds. Finally, it hit a wave, flew up in the air, did a couple backflips, landed. He was underwater. He was finally rescued, but when he was paralyzed from the chest down. So I spent time with the family in the hospital and with Billy Joel while he was hospitalized there in Pittsburgh. And their folks had a motor home, and we had them park it at our church and took care of them and got food for them. Billy eventually healed up, never got all of his feeling back in his legs, but they designed a special boat for him so he could still ride and do some racing. But here's the point. Billy said, the thing about those high-speed Formula One boats, we have no brakes. Once we start wandering, we can't stop. We don't know where we're headed or what's going to happen. It's a terrible feeling. It's a terrible experience inside to say, we're going somewhere, but we don't know where we're going. But where we're going real fast. God doesn't want us to live that way. He wants to have us to have a clear focus and direction and purpose in life. He wants us to understand a personal purpose statement. Now, in the next message, I want to talk about the final two ingredients of a personal purpose statement. But for this week, I want you to begin to think about where you're headed, where you're going in life. I don't want you running around aimlessly. I want prayerfully before God to say, I want to know where I'm headed, because if I don't know, I'll get there real fast. So start thinking about, in a phrase or a sentence, your personal purpose statement. How would you summarize why you think God is uniquely gifted and made you to be here? What is the fundamental direction and purpose of your life? God does not want us floating around like a balloon in the sky or a Formula One boat going real fast without a rudder. Friends, I can tell you, if you can begin to think about and write down, okay, what is my purpose statement in life? Why am I here? And next week, I'll share with you what mine is as well. So God, I'm praying right now that we all can get clarity and focus and simplicity and direction about why we're here in this world, why you created us, why we were fearfully and wonderfully made and knitted together by you. Why do we exist? And may God bless you as you seek to hear from God. God, what are you trying to say to me? Pray that prayer to him. What are you trying to say to me about why I exist? What is my purpose? And it might be to be the greatest mother or father who's ever lived. It might be to put a man on the moon. Whatever it is, God, what are you trying to say to me? Are you with me there? Okay. Amen, and God bless.